Recently, just for fun, I went for a bike ride every day and shared a 1-minute video just to show everybody how simple and normal riding a bicycle can be. Much to my chagrin, this experiment attracted just as many anti-cycling, "Hey, where's your helmet?" comments as it did my intended pro-cycling, "Hey, what a great idea, I think I'll try that too" comments. Well, since you asked, I'm pretty sure I left my helmet on the none of your business shelf at the Individual Liberty Superstore anchoring the Pursuit of Happiness mini mall right across the highway from your holier-than-thou mega church that's preaching helmet fundamentalism to the morally fragile masses. Now just relax. I know your morally fragile intentions are good. You're only saying these things because you care about me. Well, sorry, not sorry. There's a fine line between caring and caring, and you're crossing it, Ken. The reality is, helmets alone really don't make cycling much safer at all. A bike helmet isn't going to save you when you get smoked by a car because you were more focused on your power meter getting your latest KOM than you were paying attention to the millions of other things that are out there trying to kill you on your bike every day. There's just so much more to it than helmets. Take a look at the link to the data in the description of this video. You'll quickly find that bicycle helmets rarely come into play with bicycle injury events. Still, I would suggest wearing one, so at least when you end up in a wheelchair for 4 months nursing a shattered pelvis, you can rest easy that you didn't give Karen a chance to shame you on Facebook for not wearing your dude saver. So if I think wearing a helmet is a good idea, why don't I always wear one? Well, honestly, before I exposed myself to all this groupthink on YouTube, I hardly even thought about it. Simply put, if I don't feel that what I'm doing is all that dangerous, I'm not going to think about putting on a helmet. But now that I looked into it a little bit, putting on a bike helmet actually encourages riskier behavior. Whether I'm aware of it or not, when I put a helmet on, I'm going to ride faster and take more chances. Also, putting on a helmet gives the impression to other people that I'm a more experienced cyclist. This causes drivers of motor vehicles to see me as less vulnerable, so they drive less safely. Yes, of course, my head is important to me, but I also really hate scraping my knees and elbows. When I'm on a bicycle, that's what I'm trying to avoid. This is why, for me, wearing a helmet sometimes takes the backseat to simply riding safely. But that's just me. For most people, in almost all cases, even with a 60% efficacy rate, bike helmets are the best we've got at protecting ourselves from head injury in a world that seems to be hell-bent on making cycling impossibly unsafe. The helmet debate is nothing new. If you need a less sarcastic, more educational, deeper dive into decades of helmet history and bicycle safety studies, go watch this video instead. And in another hot take, similar to mine but with a kinder, gentler feel, check out this very well produced video too. The sole intention of this video is to show how helmet fundamentalism is misguided and often counterproductive to creating a safer cycling environment for all of us. At the end of my ranting, I'll offer some alternative ways to encourage safe cycling instead of helmet shaming. So, how exactly is helmet shaming anti-cyclist? Well, funny you should ask. At the root of the whole problem is the simple fact that the health benefits of cycling outweigh the risks of injury. Helmet or not, you're far better off going for a bike ride than you are sitting in a chair watching this video. This simple idea quickly evolves into a public health issue that immediately leads us to a transportation infrastructure issue, which eventually becomes an environmental issue. I know that as an exceptional American, you're pre-programmed to see all of this as an existential threat to your own personal freedom and liberty, but many European cities have known this for decades, and they just aren't experiencing the truly awful socio-economical problems that we accept every day in American cities. Yeah, it's really easy for me to see how shaming someone for not wearing a bicycle helmet will discourage casual bicycle use, reducing the demand for the transportation infrastructure changes that we need to implement to save our species. I absolutely believe that normalizing bicycle use will save humanity. So, let's start honoring those that die on a bike ride after they get schmucked by a truck, instead of asking, were they wearing a helmet? In the comment sections of the news reports. At my small town bike shop for regular people, I hear it all the time. Well, I'm not a big biker. I'm not gonna race or anything like that. I'm just gonna ride out on the bike path or around town or whatever. I'm not going off any jumps or nothing. Regular people just aren't interested in doing anything that's dangerous enough to require a helmet. Further, they just want to enjoy themselves on a bicycle, not reinvent themselves as some sort of cyclist or something. Aside from dressing up in skin-tight clothes like Lance on the weekends, nothing screams, "Hey, look at me, I'm a cyclist," like wearing a bicycle helmet. As a cycling retailer, I'm economically incentivized to offer bike helmet sales with the purchase of a bicycle. Would you believe that in 8 years, I've never once asked anyone if they need to buy a helmet with their new bike? When I do get asked to sell a helmet with a bike, almost everyone is completely baffled by the straps, and I begin to lose them to a total mental shutdown because there's yet another problem they have to solve before enjoying themselves on a bicycle without public outcry. And this is where it's put on me, a bicycle expert, to suddenly become a bicycle safety expert, and I'm expected to spend the next 20 minutes fumbling around with my fingers in the jowls and napes of my customers trying to get that helmet to fit right. No fucking way am I doing that. Instead, I kindly suggest they take the helmet back home and mess around with it when they're sitting on the couch watching Wheel of Fortune after dinner. And this is usually enough to bring them back to reality. And the reality is, most people that are buying a helmet with their bike are never going to ride that bike. The helmet itself gives the impression that riding a bike is too dangerous to do without it. The barrier is just too big. So that brand new helmet is going to hang on the saddle from that brand new bike that's hanging on the inaccessible hook above the F-150 that's taking up all the extra space in the garage. And really, who in their right mind would move the truck to get the bike, to put on the helmet, to ride to the store, to pick up the milk? So much focus on bike helmets is only deterring regular people from all of the good things that bikes can do for us. And there's so much more good to be had than the very small risk of a traumatic brain injury. Humans are incredibly bad at assessing risk. This is why we're afraid of lightning, bears, and quicksand. So if clearing our conscience and establishing moral purity by helmet shaming doesn't make cycling safer, what does? Normalizing bicycle use in everyday life will make cycling safer. Get out and ride your bike more. Get really good at it. Start with some bike-friendly routes and then branch out. You know what they say, practice makes safer. Ride around in public with a smile and a baguette in your basket. Other people are gonna notice your boring, basic, regular person ass out there enjoying yourself on a bicycle, and that's gonna make them wanna do it too. The more we see regular people riding in regular ways, the more we're going to respect everyone that's riding a bike, and we're gonna build a world around them in support. Maintaining your bicycle makes cycling safer too. Having a bicycle that functions as it was designed is absolutely critical to safe cycling. You can either learn the basics yourself by watching Bike Farmer YouTube videos, or take it to your local bike farmer for regular checkups. We are not assholes. We're here to help you if you let us. Getting involved in city planning makes cycling safer. Transportation infrastructure isn't really my crusade here, but I'm told by the experts that this is the way to salvation. Contact your local officials and show up for public meetings. Be the change you want to see in the world. Driving less will also make cycling safer. We all drive cars. We all need to keep in mind that roads aren't just for motor vehicles. If you do have to drive, slow down and share the road. And finally, wearing a helmet makes cycling safer. Not by much, but it's totally going to be worth it when that squirrel runs out in front of you and you choose to save its life instead of your own, and you swerve off the path and go flying headfirst into an oak tree and you live to tell about it. But don't tell me about it. If that squirrel ran out in front of me when I wasn't wearing my helmet, we'd have one less squirrel.